Hello, and welcome back to Project Talks with Ankit. Now, if you're serious about mastering project management and acing your PMP exam, you are in the right place. Today, we are going to break down one of the most crucial phases in project management, the planning phase. Now, if you are thinking that planning is just about setting timelines and assigning tasks, you're sadly wrong. This phase is vast, dynamic, and very fundamental. In fact, the planning phase involves 24 processes under the planning process group according to the PMBOK. And here's the kicker, it spans all 10 knowledge areas. But don't worry, I'm here to guide you through it step by step, making sure we leave no stone unturned. If you want to not just understand the planning phase but master it with confidence, this video is for you. So grab your notes, relax, and let's take a deep dive into the core of project planning. Now, as you can imagine, it is quite a lot. Instead of making it just a theory class, let's make it a little fun. Let's walk through the journey of a project manager this time. Let's dive in. Meet Ankit, a project manager at Technova. Now, his company has just approved a new project, developing a personal mobile finance app. Now, understand how it has gone so far. The initiation phase has completed. The project charter is signed. Now, Ankit must lead this team through a planning process group, which includes 24 processes across 10 knowledge areas. Let's walk with him step by step. And by following his story, we will see how each process and tool in the planning phase is used in real life. Let's begin. Now, the planning phase can feel overwhelming. There are so many moving parts, from scope and schedule plans to baseline and registers. It is easy to lose focus or miss something important. Now, I like to compare it to how a predator fish sees a school of small fishes. When they all move together, the predator can't lock onto just one. Everything just blurs out. That is exactly what happens in planning phase if we don't have a structure. So as a project manager, I will simplify it. I will break the entire planning phase into clear, logical sections, making sure nothing slips through the crack. First, let's look at the bigger picture, the planning phase in project management. The planning phase is one of the most crucial parts of the project life cycle. It sets the foundation of successful execution and control. During this phase, we define how the project will be carried out, what will be delivered, when it will be delivered, and by whom. Let's see how this looks in practice. Now, the planning phase will be divided into four parts. The project management plan. This is the master document that integrates and consolidates all subsidiary plans, providing the overall roadmap for managing the project. Baseline. These are the approved versions of scope, schedule, and cost plans used to measure project performance against. Next, we have supporting documents. Now, this includes project documents that guide execution and monitoring, such as risk registers, stakeholder register, and issue log. And finally, we have specialized plans. Now, these are the specific strategies created for certain areas like quality, communication, or procurement, depending on the project. Now, remember, the steps and documents created during the planning phase often overlaps. Now, you might need to update earlier documents with the data from the later stages as well, which means these documents are living and should remain flexible and open throughout the project. This is a very important point, guys. You must remember this because PMP exam questions gets a little confusing at times. They try to trick you with such questions. So you must remember these are living documents. They are not updated just once. Let's continue. All right. Now that we have seen the bigger picture of the planning phase, let's dive into the first key component, the project management plan. Now, this is the heart of project planning. Think of it as a master blueprint that ties everything together, defining how the project will be executed, monitored, and controlled. Now, the project management is not just one document. It is actually a collection of 11 subsidiary plans, each focusing on a specific knowledge area of project management. Let's quickly go through them once. All right. So we start with the scope management plan, which defines how the project scope will be defined, validated, and controlled, ensuring we deliver exactly what is required. Next is the schedule management plan, which explains how the project timeline will be built, monitored, and updated. Then we have cost management plan, which helps us manage budget and control cost effectively throughout the project. Then we have quality management plan, ensuring that the project deliverables meet the agreed standard, while the resource management plan deals with assigning and managing the right people and material. Next, we have the communication plan. It defines how information will flow, who gets what updates, how frequent, and through which channels. Then comes the risk management plan, where we identify, analyze, and prepare for potential risks before they impact the project. This is a very important one, guys. A lot of questions come from risk management plan. Next, we have procurement management plan, which handles how we will acquire goods and services from external vendors. Next is stakeholder engagement plan, which focuses on building and maintaining strong relationship with everyone involved or impacting the project. And finally, we have two essential plans that will keep everything coordinated. The change or configuration management plan, which guides how we will handle any change in scope or deliverables, and the integration management plan, which ensures all these individual plans work together seamlessly. This is an overview. In the upcoming videos, I will break down each of these plans in detail, one by one, to understand their purpose, structure, and key components. And in those videos, I will also prepare the whole document in front of you so that you can understand it, relate to it, and it gets cemented in your mind so that the next time you get a question about it, you will not be confused. You will understand and you will be able to relate, and then you will be able to answer it better and quick. Both of these things matter a lot in PMP. All right. Now, next is baseline. Think of baseline as your project's official reference point. Once these baselines are approved, they become the benchmark against which you measure your project's actual performance. In simple terms, baselines tells us, are we on track? Are we ahead or are we falling behind? Now, there are four key components of baseline you will create during planning phase. First, we have scope baseline, which is made up of three parts: the scope statement, the work breakdown structure or WBS, and the WBS dictionary. Together, they define what work is included in the project and help everyone clearly understand what needs to be delivered. Then comes the schedule baseline. This is your approved project timeline, the version of your schedule that you will use to track actual progress against planned dates. Third is your cost baseline, which captures your approved project budget. It is a point of comparison to control spending throughout the project. And finally, we have performance measurement baseline. This is an integrated view that combines your scope, schedule, and cost baseline. It is used in techniques like earned value management to assess how the project is performing overall. In short, baseline acts like a ruler of your project. Without them, you can't accurately measure progress or performance. Again, in the upcoming videos, we will explore how these baselines are created and used during project monitoring and control. All right. So now let's talk about supporting documents. These all are key artifacts that help in planning, monitoring, and controlling the project effectively. Let's go through all of them one by one. First, we have requirement documentation. This document captures all the project requirements, functional and non-functional, gathered from stakeholders. It ensures everyone understands what needs to be delivered. Next is your requirement traceability metrics. This is used to track each requirement through the project lifecycle, from initiation to closure, ensuring that every requirement is fulfilled and tested. Then we have resource breakdown structure. Now, it is a chart showing the project resources, both human and material, categorized by type and function. This helps in resource planning and allocation. Next is your RACI or RAM, which is a responsibility assignment matrix. Now, this defines who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed for each task or deliverable. It helps avoid confusion in role accountability. Next is your risk register and reports. Now, these documents list all identified risks, their probability, impact, and the corresponding response strategies. Regular risk report help in proactive risk management. Next, we have assumption log. It records all assumptions and constraints made during project planning and execution. This log is revised often to validate or update the assumptions. Then comes the stakeholder register. It includes details about the stakeholders, their interest, influence, and communication needs. It helps ensuring effective stakeholder management. Now, next, we have procurement documentation. These are all the documents related to procuring goods or services, such as contracts, bids, agreements, and supplier performance reports, etc. Next, we have project life cycle or approach. This outlines the chosen life cycle, proactive, agile, hybrid, which one we are choosing, and the approach for managing the project, guiding the team's execution strategy. Next is issue log. Now, this log is used to record ongoing issues or challenges faced during the project. Each issue is tracked with its owner, priority, and resolution status. And finally, we have lessons learned. Now, this document captures what went well, what didn't, and key learnings for the future projects. It ensures continuous improvement across the organization. So, in summary, these supporting documents collectively ensure that all aspects of the project, from requirement and risk to stakeholder and lesson learned, are documented, tracked, and managed effectively. All right. So now let's talk about something that often gets missed in initiation phase, the specialized plans. Now, apart from the usual stuff like project charter or stakeholder register, every project actually needs a few focus plans that deal with specific areas, and that is what we call specialized plans. Think of these like a mini blueprint that covers unique project situations, things like how we will manage release, handle date, or ensure smooth handover later. Let's break it down. Now, first up, the agile release or attrition plan. Now, if you're working in an agile setup, this plan defines how your release will be structured, how frequently you will deliver, what each sprint or release will include, and how you will make sure that the value keeps flowing to the consumer. On the other hand, if your project has high attrition risk, maybe team members keep changing, then you use this plan to prepare for that as well. It covers things like backup resource, documentation, and knowledge transfer so that the work done doesn't get stuck if someone leaves. Next, we have data management or information security plan. Now, this one becomes more and more important. Every project includes some kind of data, right? It's like customer information, financials, reports, etc. And this plan defines how this data will be collected, stored, and protected. It also ensures we follow all company and legal security standards like GDPR or data privacy laws. Basically, it is what keeps our data and our reputation safe. And finally, the transition or handover plan. This plan comes into play when we are wrapping up the project or moving into operations. It defines how we will hand over the deliverables, what kind of documentation and training will be shared, and who's going to take ownership going forward. It makes sure that when the project team steps away, the operation team can continue smooth without any confusion. So, yeah, these specialized plans are like our secret tools to handle unique project challenges, whether it's agile delivery, data security, or handovers. They make the project stronger and reduces surprises later on. In the upcoming videos, we will actually go deeper into these plans and make sure that we create all of these plans for you so that you can understand it better. So keep watching. That brings us to the end of our first part on the planning phase. We have seen how this particular phase forms the backbone of a successful project and how it neatly divides it into four major components: the project management plan, the baseline, supporting documents, and the specialized plans. Now, these are four pillars that make planning structured and manageable. In the next video, we are going to start exploring the first and the most important one: project management plan. We will go through all its subsidiary plans, understand what each of them does, and see how they fit together in real project scenarios. So if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit like button, share it with your PMP prep friends, and subscribe to Project Talks with Ankit. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. This is where planning really gets practical. Thank you for watching the video. Keep watching, keep learning. Thank you so much.